back to another Notebook Tech review. We're taking a look at the Dell Latitude E7470. This is the 2016 version, Core i7. It's a high-end business-focused Ultrabook. This one's got the fingerprint reader and 8 gigs of RAM, full SSD inside, and a whole bunch of ports. It actually scored a fantastic 89% in our full review at Notebook Check, so don't forget to check that one out. 89% is an excellent score for a laptop, in fact one of the best we've had recently. The Dell Latitude 14 E7470. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take you around the device. I'm going to show you some ports. We'll talk about the casing. I'll give you some performance scores, and then I'll give you the pros and cons at the end of the video. The first thing you'll notice is the port locations on the back of the device and on the side of the device. Let's take a look then across the back. Starting at the power port here, then we've got super speed, so USB 3, 2 ports of USB 3 there, display port, HDMI, and a gigabit Ethernet port. Note the metallic surrounds on some of these. The fitting and finish on this is really quite excellent. On the right hand side, as you look at the device, there is the SIM card slot. So this is an LTE model, another USB 3 port, and then a full-size SD card slot. There's a headset port there too. On the other side, there's the Kensington port lock, fan output there, and we've got a smart card port here as well. So as I mentioned, these Ultrabooks are now focused at business users, so that smart card slot helping to implement certain security measures. On the bottom there you can see the docking ports. There are just a few screws that allow easy access to the internals of the Dell. There's a couple of pictures on our review that you can look at to see the insides of the Latitude. Windows Pro on this, it's quite thin, but it's certainly not very light. 1.7 kilos is a little bit on the heavy side for a 14-inch Ultrabook, but having said that, it actually looks quite smart all the way around. So moving on to the inside, we've got a lid that goes back 180 degrees, and we've got a backlit keyboard with a touch pointer in the middle as well. We've got physical mouse buttons for that touch pointer there, and a nice smooth touchpad with nice quick response. Physical touch keys as well, which are really nice to use. Fingerprint reader on the right here. There's an NFC module inside, and here you can see the Ultrabook branding. This is an edge-to-edge screen, not an infinity display screen, but it's edge-to-edge, which means the glass goes all the way to the edges. The actual screen itself does have a border on it. Have a look at the response on that screen. It's really quite nice. It's an IPS screen and quite high resolution as well. Center brightness 380 nits, so a really nice brightness there. And in terms of color accuracy, pretty good. 3.11 for the color, 4.35 for the grayscales, and the contrast is an excellent 14:62:1. So overall, that screen really top notch, which you probably expect on a high-end Ultrabook, but that just confirms that the quality of that screen is really good. 10-point touch on the screen, so we're not talking about a stylus capable screen here, just touch capable, so that will allow you to get the best out of some of those Windows 10 touch features. There's the power supply for the Dell Latitude. It's actually a pretty light unit and nice flexible cable. There's not a very thick kettle plug style cable there, so that's a nice power accessory for the Latitude. So there you can see it's running 4 threads. It's actually a dual core CPU inside, a U-Series 6600U CPU, and scores there coming in pretty high. 334 points for a multi 64-bit score on Cinebench R15, which beats many other devices in the class. The ThinkPad T460S, if you're thinking about that one, comes in a little bit more, 4% more, but in general all the other devices in the same class here coming in slightly less power. So that's a really nice score, and there's no thermal throttling as well. The 256 gig SSD is an M2 module inside. Isn't as fast as some of the NVMe connected modules we've seen, but we're still getting up to a half a gigabyte per second in terms of read sequential speeds, and read and write 4K speeds are pretty good as well. 36 for the read and over 100 for the 4K write, so that's a really nicely balanced SSD inside this. In terms of graphics performance, well, here you can see the OpenGL Cinebench score running through, but let me give you 3D Mark score. 5,173 points. That's not the highest we've seen in this class of device. Remember, it's only the HD graphics 520 in here, so you'll only be getting entry-level gaming or low settings gaming out of it, but it's pretty powerful for office usage. We've got some gaming performance scores on the website there, which confirm that this is really just an entry-level PC gaming device. That's not really the target market for this product though, but it should keep you going with some older games. For example, FIFA 2016, 48.8 frames a second on low settings. Just want to mention noise at this point. Well, we've just been running some tests. There's a little bit of heat on the bottom left there, but the fan hasn't come on. The noise control on this is really good. It's staying quiet most of the time. And in terms of heat, yes, it's around this area on the keyboard, on the top and the bottom, where a little bit of heat builds up, but that's certainly not bad. You'll see the full heat map on our website. Maximum measured temperatures were only at 38.2 up on the top left of the keyboard. There's a 55 watt-hour battery inside. For this weight of device, and that's not huge, but we were expecting a little bit more in terms of battery life out of this. For example, Wi-Fi serving at 150 nits, only 5 hours and 46 minutes. There may be some optimizations you can do in terms of running solving background tasks, but remember this is running Windows 10 Pro with vPro, so there's a lot of additional background applications that run in this build of Windows. So once again, a great score, 89% for the Dell Latitude 14 here, the E7470. We have a list of pros for you, including that chassis, the really good keyboard and mouse input devices, the great screen, the variety of ports. We even tested the Wi-Fi, and that was excellent in terms of performance. The IPS display there that folds all the way back is good quality all round in terms of contrast, color and brightness. We got some good application performance out of this, and although the graphics performance isn't that great compared to some of its competitors, it's in the same bracket and probably not that important for the target market here. Low noise, low heat, there's a good microphone, and finally access on the bottom. At the end of this video I'm going to take the bottom off and we'll show you the inside of the Dell Latitude. On the negative side of things, battery run times were just acceptable. The mediocre webcam is not that fantastic, and of course this is an expensive device, but remember you're getting a lot of ports, a lot of connectivity capability here, including that fingerprint reader, NFC, and all the ports on the outside, the LTE module here, and the smart card reader here. We've had a look at a few comparison devices. Probably the best alternative is HP's EliteBook Folio 1040 G2, but even the version with the matte FHD panel on that costs $200 to $300 more than this Dell. The runtime is slightly better, but the Folio 1040 G2 doesn't offer as many ports, so there's trade-offs you have to think about there. So here we are with the back off, and as you can see there's easy access there to pretty much everything. 2 banks of DDR4 there. We've got the Wi-Fi module accessible here. Here's the 55 watt-hour battery, which looks to be fairly easily replaceable, and there's the M2 SATA module there. You see the fan up on the top right is generally staying pretty cool there. Speakers on the bottom, they're actually not too bad in terms of sound there.